Do you remember this episode? Yep, that's right. The time I dressed up as a cowgirl on the hunt for some businesses to really experience my branding strategy services. Well, Jill from Jill Huskisson Fitness was one of those businesses who took me up on my offer. If you've always wondered if investing in branding strategy is really the right call for your business, then by the end of this episode, you're going to get a behind the scenes look at exactly what it does for a real small business with the help of Jill from Jill Huskisson Fitness and the behind the scenes story of exactly how we've transformed her brand. This project took a few months to complete, and while we were doing it, I asked Jill to record some diary cam footage of how she felt along the way at the different intervals of us working together. Let's roll the tapes.
Hi there, I'm Jill Huskisson and welcome to my studio. I'm based here in Bray, which is near Windsor, Maidenhead area, and this is my studio, and this is where I teach my online fitness classes to women over 40, and I have just signed up for Laura's amazing brand strategy offer, and I'm so excited. I cannot wait to get the Laura treatment. Up until now, I've literally been doing everything myself. In fact, there's no literally about it. I have been doing everything myself. So I cannot wait to get Laura's input and expertise on how to create my brand and how to position it. I'm ready for that next level because you can only do so much yourself, and I really feel that I'm ready to push into that next bracket. I'm excited, definitely nervous, because, you know, having been the one that's just done everything, it almost feels quite hard to hand over, but I know that if I want to progress and get better and actually help more people, more women, then it's exactly what I need to do. So yes, Laura, I can't wait for your magic treatment. Let's do this.
Jill was keen to get going, but she shared there that she felt a little bit nervous. And this is actually really common when somebody's about to embark on a branding strategy journey with me. Let's see how she felt after we did a full-scale audit on her brand together.
So I had my first meeting with Laura this week for my branding strategy. And Laura's asked me to do a video cam just to keep you up to date with how it's all going. So this week we started going bit deeper into how to break down my brand, and so that I know how to build it back up. Because when you're in the thick of it, when you're like in your business, it's so hard to see all the different pieces. So we did this internal brand audit checklist, and I just felt like a bit of a spanner on that, because even though, you know, there was just this list of things to do and I've got ideas about my branding, just to really break it down into these little different components and how it all feeds together, oh, it was just amazing. It was just mind blown, and I cannot wait to see how it all comes together, because that is definitely something that I struggle with. I've got the big idea, but then how to put the pieces together to make it come off the paper and pop on social media, on my website, and even just how I speak and how to get that across much more fluently. So I just can't wait. Mwah.
So once we had a good, clear picture of exactly what was going on and working well or not working well for Jill's brand, it was time to take a look out in the wider world. So I wanted to get a really good understanding of exactly what strategies were in play in Jill's marketplace. This bit always comes with a lot of feelings of resistance from my clients. And I think that's because everyone thinks that everyone else out there has this whole business thing figured out way more than they do, and they're actually the imposter in their space. See how Jill felt at this stage.
Right, so just out of another amazing meeting with Laura, and it's straight on the school run. It is just go, 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 honestly, the joy. So the meeting today was all about, Laura did a deep dive on like some competitors, and that always feels a little bit icky because, you know, you don't want to be snooping around, but it was amazing. And Laura also found people, you know, in my industry that I hadn't even heard of, which was a bit unusual, like I don't even know who these people are, but then, not many people maybe know who I am yet. But it was just fantastic. And Laura, oh my goodness, does Laura know her stuff? And it has been amazing to be able to delegate this side of building a business and branding away, because it's hard work and it's just busy trying to do everything when you are a solopreneur.
Let me just say that, so we've got some context. I'm not just a crazy reckless driver. I don't want people to think that I'm just driving around and filming like an absolute it was safe. As a busy mom, I can tell you that when I'm driving and filming, that is a lot less distracting than trying to keep the kids amused and occupied in the back seat.
And obviously, Jill, you had that phone positioned in a safety folder. It would have been worse if you were driving like with the phone on the wheel, wouldn't it?
Oh no, we're not doing that. It's a magnet. It's amazing. Yeah, it just stuck right on there. Yeah, it's really cool.
So the next bit that we worked on together, Jill, was into creative direction, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Shall we have a look at this footage of your reaction then?
Let's do it. Here we go. Just had the creative boards, the briefing back from Laura, and honestly, I'm absolutely fizzing and buzzing with excitement. Let me just dive right in. This has been through the previous months of working and deep diving, and Laura's just pulled out all this amazing juicy data, just bringing together all my thinking, what makes me tick, and how I want my brand to look. And it's just phenomenal. Look at this. So here we go. This is the one pager that will go off to the designer, and Laura's just broken it down into different sections. It's just so easy for me to understand and just so easy for the designer to understand, but it actually just gets better. Take a look at this. And then you got the mood boards. I could look at that all day. So you've got the color, and then coming in on the graphics and the textures. And again, it's just, we love a bit of animal print and all the tapes and the glasses. I love it all. And then my people, Chitara, Shira, a bit of Jane Fonda, the gladiators. It's just so fun and just amazing. So, Laura, you absolute genius. Just how you've managed to, it's just my brand. It's just everything I wanted. And I can't wait to actually have this in action. Thank you so much. You are the best.
So you've just seen there that progression from getting an honest take on what's going on inside the business, doing a bit of an exploration in an objective way of the outside marketplace, so that we can start getting really strategic on coming up with genuinely unique creative direction. Now, this was a pared back brand strategy project that we did with Jill based on exactly what her needs were. Not all brand strategy projects look the same. It really does depend on business to business cases, on exactly how you go about getting that unique creativity in place. It can be factors to do with the business content creation, it can be history, it can be what else is going on in the marketplace. It really is quite a bespoke process to get involved in. Here's me and Jill having a little bit of a chat on the impact that all of this work has really had on her business.
Oh, it's so good to have a catch up, Laura. I just feel like I've got so much to update you on since we last spoke about my branding.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Let's get into this then. So firstly, tell me, on reflection, how has this process made you feel about your business as a whole, would you say?
From the start, I did feel quite vulnerable, quite nervous. Got to be honest about that. When we sort of got together at the beginning, I just didn't really feel very connected with what I was doing or really enjoying it as much anymore. I think a few reasons for that, lockdown. I think there's so much change for all of us in lockdown, and adapting everything to having to work from home. It was just such a huge pivot and turn in what we were doing. And I just felt a bit burned out with it all. So I just really really felt I'd got a bit stagnant and stale, and we were being forced in a new direction, and I wasn't quite sure how to grab hold of it, really.
Yeah, I can absolutely relate to that. I've started calling that the lockdown
Yeah,
hangover.
totally. But with you and getting that fresh perspective on things, and all the different facts and data that you went off and collected, it was just really gave me that boost of energy that I needed. It just really helped sort of channel and get that focus back again.
That is amazing, Elaine. That's like why I live, Jill.
Yeah, I mean,
most people find that snooping bit on the competitors. When I suggest that we're doing a competitive audit, they can find that a little bit triggering. Would you agree with that?
Totally. Yeah, it felt really, really like weird that you're going off and just like looking. I couldn't have done that. Even though I knew it was the right thing to do, strategic business wise, I just couldn't do it. That level of research that you went off and did for me, and just how you brought all that data together, it was just to know that that was being done and delegated, and it was just fabulous, and knowledge is power, and it just felt amazing. And it wasn't, I think when people think of like going off and researching, you feel like you're being snoopy and sneaky, and yeah. But it wasn't at all. It was really just amazing to just see how other female fitness people were going about their business, what worked really well for them, what I liked but actually wouldn't be good for my business, so it was just a real gathering of such amazing detail, and it did give me a bit of a confidence boost that I am in the right area, and just needed a bit more fine tuning, a bit more tweaking. And you basically, you pulling all that out,
that is what it's all about,
yeah.
Jill. Like, that is the beauty of getting the information. Like, the information doesn't lie, but when you've got the information, that's when you can get really super crystal clear on what your strategy is going to be.
Yeah.
And it always makes people feel like that. So at the beginning, they're usually a little bit triggered or freaking out about snooping on people, but then afterwards they're like, yes, I know where I stand, and I know what makes me different.
Exactly.
And I have to say that diary cam that we just saw, I love the energy in that diary cam. So when, like, thinking back then, so where you're looking at the mood boards and the creative direction side of thing, let's just talk a little bit more about that.
I mean, it literally blew my mind. Honestly, I'm not even joking. I'm still buzzing from it. It was just amazing. And as far as I'm concerned, that is your like super magic power, the way you're just able, to draw all that out and then present it back to me. It was just like, wow, I could never have dreamed that up, but it just hit all the spots. I just loved it. And I think that is why the mood boards of why everything is where it is and how it all fits together, separating it all out, but then how that then becomes the whole unity of everything.
Wow, Jill, that is music to my ears. Like, again, I love that sort of feedback. Thank you. It's worth saying though that the creativity and the unique direction that I came up with would never have been possible if you weren't as open and vulnerable with me throughout the process. Like, that is always a big part of doing a project like this. If you're open and vulnerable about the way you're saying things, and we had those regular points to meet up and talk about the facts and findings, that's when I feel like I've got all of the ingredients to then do the creative bit.
Definitely. I mean, the way that we did have those conversations, and there was just like no judgment, it was just like a sharing of ideas, there was no idea that was silly or daft, and it just all came together. It was fantastic.
Oh, fantastic. So tell me then, Jill, what's going on for you now these months later? It's like, how would you say that the brand strategy project that we did together has carried on working in the business? Has it still had an effect?
Yeah, absolutely. Not necessarily in the ways that I thought it would, but it definitely has like really helped me to step up, because I just remember just feeling so nervous, I felt kind of trapped and locked in, and then doing all this branding work with you just really helped me to stop being so stiff. I think as much as I can get up and do a class and everything, when it came to actually putting it into my business, I did go a bit stiff and stale, and I didn't really feel my words and everything were like projecting of me. I just had my old English literature degree firing out all the time, and like you just yeah.
That's so not your personality. Like I'm one of your in the fitness lounge, and I love it. And your style of doing things and explaining things is so
Oh.
unique to you. Like I'll be working out, and sometimes I'll be cursing at you because you're making me keep on going and it hurts. But then half the time I'm cracking up on my own, like with the
Oh,
cat in the living room. And I know that everyone else in there is cracking up as
yeah,
well because you've said something silly. Like it's just your style. Let's
yeah,
talk about we made some strategic decisions at the very end about what was next for you. And I think
yeah.
this is sometimes a little bit different to what people think they're going to expect when they go into a brand strategy project. So do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, because obviously we were like gonna be pushing, and it will happen, like the logo and the website overhaul, but we just taken the decision just to put that on a little bit of a pause, just for me to increase my membership base in the fitness lounge, so we're just growing and then developing and growing and developing, and it just feels a much more steady and, like, well, I guess, safe way to do it, really. Yeah.
Exactly. And that is being absolutely strategic. Like you don't have to go push, 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 push. Some people do want to do like a massive full overhaul in one go, but I think it's
Yeah.
very important to say that the type of women that I love working with who have small businesses, sometimes you have to be a little bit more agile and you have to be a little bit more careful about the way that you're going to invest in this.
Yeah.
And I think that's unusual. So I wanted to just kind of put a bit of a spotlight on that. You still have this plan of what your next investments are going to be for
Yeah.
your brand,
Yeah.
but we know that we're going to be waiting for the membership to grow so that it
Yeah.
pays off. So where are you at with that right now? How is the membership growing? Like, do you want to share what's the
Yeah,
latest?
yeah. So really happy to report that we're on a steady incline, which, for this time of year, I think it's quite unusual because, what's going on with, like, the cold weather and, like, the climate and, what's happening in the country. But yeah, we're moving on up. I think because, we're all kind of used to this hybrid way of working and working out, that it just fits so well into people's lifestyles, and so it's a really good thing to have. And also, you can't lie, keeping moving and getting your circulation going, you're going to keep yourself a bit warmer. You're not going to need to put the heating on as much.
Yeah, God knows we all need the tricks there at the minute, Jill.
Oh,
That is
I
a really
know,
good
I
piece
know.
of advice.
Oh,
Does
but
this mean I can drink more red wine? Because apparently that's good for circulation, right?
well, mm, tomatoes work just as well.
Okay, right.
A cooked
Tomatoes are
tomato.
working out.
No, that's boring. We're not doing that. But no, but honestly, I just think the incline has been a direct impact of what we've been doing, because it's just boosted my confidence, to be more consistent in how I approach things, and making sure that what you see, say, on my social media or in my website blogs, is what you get in the fitness lounge, so there's a much better connection, and I just feel so much happier, like, putting that out there, because I hate selling. I hate, like, that hard sell. I'm just not what I'm about. So the way that we connect it, or the way that you help me connect my personality to what I'm doing and delivering, it's just made the whole thing so much easier. It doesn't even feel like selling. It's just, it's
That's
just
when a
so much
business
more in
starts. Yeah,
line.
that's when a business really pays off. I think when you
Yeah.
have it in this way that is truly attuned to who you are. Like,
Yeah.
I love the way that you sell, but you don't sell. Like, a great example of this is, like, you'll say, okay, we're using this piece of equipment today. If you don't want to do it, you can use this. Like, you might have a
Yeah.
tin of beans or something, or you can say you can use this.
Yeah.
But straight away, like when I first joined, I was like, oh, well, that's Jill recommended, I'm going to buy it. So that's a great example of, like, upselling once you're in the membership. But
Yeah.
you do a really cool thing with a trial, don't you, now? Is
Yeah.
that right?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can come and try out the fitness lounge for a week. And I think that's just a really good way. You can come in, see the workouts, get a feel for the other members. There's a good conversations going on. Check out what's in the files, the recipes, the plans, and just see if it's the right fit for you. Because I
Yeah.
want you to be in there and be a happy member, enjoying it and getting full benefits of it, before you hand over your hard-earned money and, sign up for the month. But what I find is that once you do join, you don't want to leave. Honestly, my members, they stay, and that's fantastic. And I'm just so proud of that, and just love all the members and that community that we have in there. It's amazing. It is really amazing.
Let's go into a little bit more specifics, Jill, about who you're looking to work with, because I think this is something we got crystal clear as a result of working
definitely
together. So come on, give it to me.
So I work with women who are like over 40 and like just want to improve their mobility, their strength, be a bit more proactive about their health, but we are not forcing anybody into like crazy drop to dress sizes and a fortnight plans. It's not about that at all. It is really about finding those the right long-term strategies that you can fit into your life. Okay, we're busy. We don't need to be limiting ourselves or doing crazy fad things. It's all about better nutrition, whatever that is for you, because it isn't a one size fit all. We do focus a lot on sleep, because if you get your sleep as good as you can, then the rest, everything else will just fall into place. And it's just about that right kind of fitness that you can build into your busy lifestyles and maintain and enjoy, because if you're not enjoying it, it's just becoming a chore and you're not going to want to keep doing it. So there's many different levels, and you could be in there for different reasons, but it all just comes together in this beautiful bubble of fitness. Fab, Laura. So the link, if anyone wants to come and try out the fitness lounge, it's www.jillhuskisson.com/shop/7-day-the-fitness-lounge.
Woohoo! What a link for what a pass.
Boom. Yeah. I'll see you in there.
If you like the sound of how Jill's fitness brand has been transformed as a result of working with me on her branding strategy, then you might want to learn a little bit more about how I work with this. You can find out everything you need to by visiting my website www.laurapearman.com/branding-strategy. And if you want to see more of my clients and me at work in the real world, you can check out my Meet My Clients playlist right here. I'll see you next time. Mwah. Now, before you go anywhere, don't forget to subscribe. Mwah.